I mean, it is with great sadness that I say this, but say it I must. The Switch hype train has officially stopped. Now, before I move on, I must clarify the Switch is not dead. It's still selling really well. We're still getting cool games for it. Lots of people still very excited about those games of the Switch, all that stuff. I'm making a silly, half-serious observation about the hype surrounding the system itself. The very concept, the intangible concept of Switch hype. And this subject of Switch hype is naturally of great interest to me because this channel, this whole channel right here that you are currently watching and that I'm currently in, it was built upon a foundation of Switch hype. When I was just an itty-bitty channel, couple hundred subscribers, collabing with Lockston over on Noggin, got my foot in the door, then complaining about Paper Mario, that really got things moving, you know? But it was the hype surrounding the Switch that grew my YouTube hobby into a full-blown career. That was when my channel really found itself, when I really dived headfirst into just covering Nintendo news and all that. That's what turned this channel into more or less what it is today. Plenty of things have changed, you know, it's evolved over time, but like this has definitely been a very Switch-centric channel ever since the thing released. And that's actually the case for loads of Nintendo YouTubers, loads of them, me, Spawnwave, beat-em-ups, just tons of them. Nearly all of them were born thanks to the great success of the Switch. That's why they're here, because it cannot be overstated how bad of a position Nintendo was in before the Switch. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's true. It cannot be overstated how irrelevant their brand was. You know, you had the Wii U era, dark times, and even like the latter part of the Wii era. They just weren't doing things that got people's attentions. They were putting out some good games, sure, but like, Nintendo was not a big thing. After the crazy novelty of the Wii died down, like, it was some dark times. Nintendo YouTubers weren't even a thing. If anyone was talking about Nintendo games on YouTube, they were talking about the classic games. You know, they were having funny little like 8-bit chiptune intros and sitting on their couches at the beginning being like, Super Mario 64. That's what a Nintendo YouTuber was back then. But then the Switch came along and it changed everything, absolutely everything. And it gave a lot of us jobs. It gave us jobs, and I'm very, very thankful. But really, like, I mean, that, like, you probably remember, that early Switch hype was absolutely nuts. I mean, everybody was going crazy, midnight launches and all that stuff, and like, on my end, it didn't even matter what the video was about. All I had to do was put Switch in the title, loads of views, tons of views. And it was so exciting, because like, this was Nintendo making a big comeback with like tons of great games, and a lot of these games are like total returns to form. You know, like, oh my gosh, it's Zelda, but it's open world. It's Mario, but it's going back to the sandbox style. And then just the very concept of the Switch, it was so novel, playing handheld or on the TV, like all of Nintendo's biggest, greatest games, like their console quality 3D games, but on the go, ridiculous. There was just an energy surrounding the system, you know? It was so much fun. It was such ridiculous fun, those early days. Right now, it is 6 years later. I've had this little guy right here for 6 years. Not actually, this is my third Switch, because I got the one with the better battery life, and then this is an OLED. But you get the idea. Symbolically, this has been with me for 6 years. And like I said, things are still good, absolutely good, but the Switch, it really is officially in its Twilight years. It's long in the tooth. It's gray in the beard. We'll save discussions and debates over like when the next system is coming, whether it's next year, the year after, or whatever. We'll save all that for later. Whenever the successor finally comes, there is no denying that this little thing right here is over the hill, as it were. It is officially aging. Its time in the spotlight is drawing to a close. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally inevitable for any system. But I mean, it is sad, you know? It's a little bit sad. That hype was with us for so long and it was so much fun that it's, you know, it's just a little bit sad to see just over time the overall discourse just kind of, it's died down a lot. I mean, I know people who were super into the Switch early on, you know? But they're just really not that excited about anything Nintendo is doing anymore. Nothing about the Switch is like super exciting anymore. It's not jumping out and grabbing people. Nintendo is no longer the talk of the town with the crazy cool new system, you know? Especially since now the other next-gen consoles are, you know, picking up steam. The Switch is now feeling weaker and weaker. It's struggling more and more to actually run new games, and that's certainly not helping the discourse surrounding it. Again, I get it. I mean, I'm experiencing it as well, at least to a degree. I basically never play handheld anymore, which is a little bit sad. You wouldn't know it based on the worn-off control stick nub there, but that's my nephew's doing. He plays handheld quite a lot, but I really don't, so none of the Switch's unique features even appeal to me anymore. The novelty of handheld play is worn off, the novelty of the Joy-Cons is worn off, and in fact, thanks to the constantly failing Joy-Cons, the bare-bones UI, the lack of features, the sluggish eShop, and of course the overall lack of power, yeah, it's just not exciting anymore. It's old. I've been playing a lot of games on my Xbox Series X and now my PS5, and I mean, obviously there's a big difference there. But just for a moment, even forget about like the super crazy detailed fancy graphics. I mostly just like that they're a nice high resolution. They look nice and clear on my TV with a nice high frame rate. Just feels good to play. And I used to not care too much at all about frame rate, but I don't know, last couple years I've really come around on it. So now I'm getting so used to playing games that look nice and run nice on my TV that, you know, when a Switch game struggles in either department, resolution or frame rate, or even both, it's just getting old. The Switch's graphics are starting to feel downright ancient. Right now, my Nintendo excitement is entirely based on the games themselves. I'm excited for Tears of the Kingdom because it's Zelda, and I like Zelda. It's another Zelda. You know, I'm excited for Pikmin 4 because it's Pikmin 4. I don't care what system it's on, I just want to play it. But truth be told, I'm not particularly excited to play them on my Switch. I'll play them on my Switch because that's the only option I've got. I would actually love to not play them on my Switch, honestly, if you know what I mean. Kind of wish I could play them on my Xbox. I know all this sounds really negative, but like I said, it's totally natural and inevitable. This was always coming. But I just wanted to kind of reflect on that a bit, you know? It's just interesting to finally reach this point and be like, yeah, that hype really has died. Switch hype is just kind of dead. Just kind of not a thing anymore. Well, that's all I really wanted to say. Just wanted to kind of talk about that here on the 6th anniversary of this little thing existing. By the way, a thing about that, I do not know why. I do not understand this. There are a lot of people who seem to be confused about how old the Switch is, and I don't understand it. The Switch is now beginning. It is at the start of its 7th year. That is the way that it is. But I've said that and I've heard people say, no, it's the 6th year. I even read an article where they said 7th year and then they updated it to correct themselves to 6th year. No, it launched March 2017. It was 0 years old at that time and it was at the beginning of its first year. March 2018, it is 1 year old and is entering its 2nd year. 2019 was its 3rd year. 2020, 4th year. 2021, 5th year. 2022, 6th year. Now it is March 2023. 6 years are done. It is 6 years old. That means that we are on its 7th year. This is the 7th year, and March 2024, it will be 7 years old. It's just the truth of it. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let me know what you think about this whole thing down in the comments, your thoughts on the very concept of Switch hype, and whether or not you think that it is dead. In the meantime, I gotta go because I got a lot of work to do. You see, because when I said that videos speculating about the next system and when it might come, when I said those would come later, I meant it. I really meant it. For I am the predictor. I am the speculator. I am a Nintendo YouTuber whose sole job is to vampirically leech off of Nintendo's success. And this hype train may have stopped, but the next one will be departing soon enough, and you better believe that I'll be on it. Chugga chugga chugga, switch to chugga chugga. It's such a good outro. Wow! I have goosebumps at how good that outro was.